Hi, I'm Alex Reedijk from Scottish Opera, and I stand before you this evening as an accidental client, which means that my talk might be a little more eclectic than others. In a moment, we're going to head to an image of the Theatre Royal in Glasgow, which we, Scottish Opera, have owned for the last 40 years or so. There's in fact been a theatre on that site for nearly 150 years, in fact 149 years today, something like that. Many of you will remember it as the home of Scottish television, or some of you. Some of you will remember it as the home of Scottish television in the 50s, 60s and 70s, and we've owned it for the last 40 years or so. Extensively referred to gorgeous auditorium and backstage, Phipps Auditorium. One of the things I always try to do is stand in the foyers of every theatre we're in after a performance. It gives me a great chance, A, to be, I suppose, the face of the company, but also to gather as much feedback as I can from our audiences. And mostly it goes along the lines of, love the show, but do you know what? Or it used to go along the lines of, love the show, but shame about the queues for the loos, the bars, it's too hot, it's too cold, there are no lifts, box office was too small, and the foyers were too small. Yeah. So in 2010, we accidentally acquired a gap site on the northern end of the building on Calcaddon's Road, which really was an opportunity to secure land for the future. At that point, I became the accidental client on behalf of the board. A very special challenge. As we progressed through the OJU process, we appointed Page Park, and I realised that I had a role really to try and articulate my own vision for the building in order to help Page Park prepare their designs. So I've been in and around the theatre world for over 40 years, so over that time I've acquired certainly some opinions, thoughts and habits, I guess, about what I think works for audiences. And this is genuinely an interesting artistic opportunity because it was for the audiences, not for the performers. Many typical UK theatres have old-fashioned Victorian lifts. It's part of the product of how these buildings were built. We decided we wanted at the heart of the building to be two powerful, fast lifts on the basis that at any one point one could be broken down. Festival Theatre in Edinburgh was another major reference point. We performed there, gorgeous light and views, but when you go into those spaces, especially when you're early, you definitely feel like Nobby No Mates. Going to Cardiff, here in Wales, new building, the Wales Millennium Centre, a gorgeously powerful, confident approach as a building, as a structure. As you approach it as an audience member, you get these terrific public spaces that feel most capacious, lots of light. Over here you've got the most amazing auditorium, a truly generous, wonderful opera auditorium, but somehow the connectivity between the public spaces and the foyers just doesn't work. Funny, curvy corridors, funny little inarticulate steps and odd little doors, and it really is a disconnect between audience experiences. Here we have the National Opera House, which is in fact in Wexford, on the east of Ireland, a tiny little opera festival that's been going for over 60 years. Initially a little 600-seat auditorium, very green, very old, with all the backstage spaces carved out of a row of terraced houses. I first worked there in about '89, and it was very seminal in terms of shaping my views about A, discomfort, and B, going back in 2010 to have a look, to go into the building and to see this fantastic opera house sitting on top of the hill. Wandered into the foyer, said to the box office, "Where's the cafe?" She said, "It's on the 5th floor." Went to the 5th floor, fantastic views. It was full of people, fantastic views across Curracloe Bay, the river. That then led me thinking about roof terraces. Not long after that, I was at the informatics building at Edinburgh University. Huge roof terrace there, views across to Arthur's Seat. Again, thinking, cold winter's night, much colder than this time of year, much colder than tonight. 200 people all on the roof terrace, enjoying the views, the outdoor experience. I then started thinking about how would that feel and behave in Glasgow. This is the King's Place in London, which led me to another part of the journey, which was about, I guess, third place, that connection between home and work, social and professional. I love this building because it's A, it's very generous, B, it's very gracious and accommodating, lots of light, very classy, felt like a place you could be in all sorts of different aspects of your own personality. The National Museum of Rural Life, designed by Page Park, wonderful building. It says on the outside what goes on inside the tin. Again, very generously formed building. Every time I was there, everyone who came into the building really, really enjoyed being inside it. And I thought that was an important quality for us to take away. Again, big boned, lots of light, gracious and generous. Yeah, here we go. moving past that. Come on. the one time I need this slide. Here we go. So this is the foyers of the Theatre Royal in Glasgow, the outcome of a lot of thinking, part of what was at the brief. One of the threads that runs through the heart of Scottish opera is our determination to open up opera. It seemed to me that our home theatre, our home building, needed to articulate that aspiration. At the same time, we wanted a building that really invited the audience in, and once they were in, there was a sense of intuitive wayfinding through it. So in other words, at any point, you would know where you were. This is our upper circle foyer, lots of smaller, intimate spaces, fantastic light pouring, and really high-quality materials and finish. I might say that we did the joinery ourselves. And also, the other part of this has formed an accidental small opera house in that foyer. Here we have an exterior, wonderful Glasgow corner, Glasgow lantern, visible from all around Hope Street, Kirkcallan's Road. Again, the quality I love most is that you can see what's going on inside as you come by. It's no longer a place of mysterious ritual. Another thing we wanted was a powerful connection, an artistic connection between the artisan activity on stage and the 19th century auditorium and the 21st century foyers. We commissioned Alison Watt, artist, to design an image that became this tapestry done at Dovecote Studios in Edinburgh that was an artisanal connection between the skills that go on stage and the skills that happen in the foyers. Finally, I would say, in terms of delivering the vision of roof terrace, we finally ended up with the only public roof terrace in Glasgow. Part of my spiel always was, once you got to the roof terrace, we'd give you views of the Campsie Fells. Never promised they'd be beautiful, just promised that they would be there. Thank you.